health is a big one. Like I said, when they closed down that hospital in Poco, it drove a lot of mental health issues out this way. There were no beds for anybody, so you got a lot of people suffering from their issues. They can't get their medications, they can't have a bed, they can't get proper psychiatric care, right? So they're stuck on the street. And then being on the street, you have to be awake. You have to pay attention because somebody's going to get your stuff. Well, how do you do that? Get addicted to drugs. Fun. So it's called extreme camping. Bears Grill's got nothing on us. We stay awake for long periods of time, do a lot of dope. It's hard life. And then you're on a mission every day because you got to get money to pay for all the dope. Welfare doesn't pay for all that, right? The average person on welfare gets $610 a month. You can't possibly pay rent. The rent that they allow you on $610 a month is $375. You tell me where in Abbotsford you're going to be able to rent a place for $375 a month by yourself. It won't happen.
More resources, more affordable housing. There's no housing. There's nothing out there. There's no apartments to rent, and they don't want to rent it to the homeless anyway. People don't want to rent their apartment or their suite out to the homeless. Yeah. So basically, we're dead in the hole before we even start. It's not fair that they take care of people from the other side of the world before they take care of their own, right?
How can that be changed?
I don't think it can be. I think there's people that are in power there's just I don't know how to say it without sounding racist, right? But I think there's there's enough people in power that are from their own country, from their countries, that are in power now, that they're helping their own kind before they're worried about the poor white people that are on the street in Canada.
They're willing to work a lot harder than we are. They'll work 24 hours a day just to give their families a better home, a better life. We sit on our asses and want to do dope, so that's our choice. I think they're willing to work harder. They want to come here. There's certain things that happens in their countries that they're not free. They don't have their freedoms. So they want to come here and have our freedoms. They're willing to work harder. They'll work 2 and 3 jobs. They'll work 24 hours a day. We won't. We become lazy, complacent.
There's more fentanyl on the streets than there is heroin. I mean, how many people, are on this fentanyl patch where they're, where is it coming from? It's got to be coming from the government, and it's like fentanyl is used for terminally ill patients, right? That are basically on the last legs of their life, and it's killing all of us,
Yeah, but some of us want to do it.
Some of us want to do it, but it's basically I think it's put onto the streets by the government. I mean, let's face it. There's not enough. There's more fentanyl than there is cancer patients. Where is it coming from?
Unfortunately, we're a slave to our addiction. That's where we have our problems, right? Like, we have to learn better coping skills.
Well, I think what's missing is more shelters. And honestly, I don't see why there isn't more of them, because you can put it as a non-profit organization and just write it off in the end. It's just more money for them. And you can pay it into taxes, donate it to charities. At the end of the year, you're getting it all back. So it's not costing you anything, really. You're making money off of it. People just don't want to put the goodwill and the time and the effort to put into it, I guess. I think the government should be responsible for that, because it's their hands that are on top of all this. they're the ones that have to put up with the reactions and the response of, and all the crime and activity that's happening because of it. Like, it's the government's fault why we're here. Like, come on. If it wasn't for the drugs that they created, we wouldn't be doing them. And that's just that. Like, if the drugs weren't there, would we be using them? No.
So you believe homelessness is due in part to having drugs easily available on the street?
Well, yeah, but you can also get it easily through doctors too. And they give it out like candy in doctors' offices. People are double doctoring. Like, come on now. It's common sense here. Like, you write a prescription for a cold. There's home remedies you could use. Why go out and use all these chemicals for all this stupid shit? And not go green? Chemical, non-chemical reaction? Or something like that's good for the environment? It's bogus.
I've been kicked out of my place because of certain choices I made in the past. But at the same time, trying to get into shelters and staying there and having them help the problems that you have. In my case, I have Crohn's, and I have also had troubles with my abilities to live out on the streets by going to the hospital daily to get medical attention, and then I go back to the shelter and I get kicked out because they can't do anything for me, supposedly. But kicking somebody out on the streets is the way to go. So that's their choice to do things, is to get rid of what they can't handle. And that would be, in my case, helping somebody with their medical disability. And with a lot of people around these days, I'm not the only one. There's too many people out on the streets with disabilities that they can't help. And the people that are saying what we can't is bullshit. And do they help? No. And it's pissing me off because, one, they're just sitting in their chair and then they go home and they're sitting under a roof where they don't have to worry about any problems. But guess what? We're on the streets and we're having troubles.
We're not able to take care of ourselves for certain reasons, whatever those are. That's fine, but we can't blame that on them. It's not their responsibility to take care of us, right? It's not. It's not their responsibility to take care of us. If they want to be in that particular job that they're in, where they're caregivers or they're outreach workers or that is their job, to provide some sort of resource or service to us. But it's not up to them to do everything for us, right? Like, we have to be a little proactive in our own right.
Government should do is look at their own before they look at other people in other countries. Sure, there's people like us that have problems. There's other people that can work with them, can't work with them, whatever it may be. But they should be looking at their own in Canada before they start moving people like the refugees in here and giving them more money, which they could give us more money for helping ourselves, in the process helping others like us.